the sequel to the 2021 movie Mortal Kombat and the latest attempt at this video game adaptation of movies for this franchise. In this movie, Johnny Cage is a washed up black belt action star. He is summoned by the gods. He's chosen to, participate in the Mortal Kombat tournament. And this is a particularly important Mortal Kombat for Earth because if Earth loses this one, their Earth is going to be overtaken and overruled by evil. The first Mortal Kombat that came out in 2021, it had its good, it had its bad, but I definitely saw the potential. When I watched it, I was like, okay, if they can clean up some of their flaws here and there, we can have a pretty solid video game adaptation movie. And what is Mortal Kombat 2? A pretty solid video game adaptation movie of Mortal Kombat that cleaned up some of its flaws. Getting to the positive right out the gate, once again, the action, the fight scenes, the bloody violence, it's awesome. And what I appreciate in this movie that they honed in more in this, that I feel like didn't do as much, is the tournament played a lot more of an effect here. The movie actually showed what happened when participants lost a match, when they lost a fight, and how it had the bigger, more drastic effects on the realms that were participating. In the first movie, I didn't feel like the tournament held a lot of weight. It was just a lot of fight scenes for the sake of having them, but they didn't hold a whole lot of meaning to the movie. In this one, they did more because the tournament actually meant more. Visually, it's not always totally up to standard. I will say some moments of CGI definitely are more cleaned up in this one than the last one, but there are definitely still moments where I look at them just like, that's still very much a green screen. But also the characters in this one, I thought they actually lent more to the story. I mean, starting off with this, Carl Urban as Johnny Cage was great. He was funny, he talked a lot of shit, he feels like just the right amount of washed up, but you still saw potential in him. It's that really good underdog story that worked more in this one than it did in the last one. Because in the last one, they used a character named Cole Young, who's never been in a Mortal Kombat game, wasn't really a very standout character. That was one of the flaws we had. We didn't care for the main character. Well, I can assure you in this one, Cole Young has a much more minor role, but because of that, we can now focus more on the characters that we know more and love, like Johnny Cage. And I loved slowly seeing his character develop in this movie. You see what he means to the Earth realm, you see what he means to this tournament, you actually see what he does provide you, because initially you're kind of like, yeah, why were you chosen? And then along the lines, you can see why, and that's great. I just thought Katana was a real standout in this movie. I will say, arcs versus storyline, that's catered more towards the drama side of this movie, the more dramatic effect, you could say. Because her story arc in this one is a lot more personal, it's a lot more emotional, but I will say, the emotional element of her storyline didn't really hit me as much, and I will say, when we focus more on her, that is when the movie slows down a little bit for me. Because her storyline was a lot less action-centric, and as a result, I just felt like I was missing out on more. I wouldn't really come into Mortal Kombat 2 wanting an emotional storyline that didn't even really hit me. I went in for the action, so the fact that it slowed down a bit more with her, I felt, didn't really work for me. I thought the character was good, I just thought there were times they were trying to make her more of the lead character when they should have stuck with Johnny Cage through and through. Also, this movie does play into the nostalgia in the fact that, other characters that we knew and loved from the last movie get a little bit more time to shine. Even characters that we didn't think we'd see again from the last movie get some time to shine here. I will say, in that sense, some are definitely brought back for the sake of just nostalgia, for the sake of, fan pleasing, but did it provide a lot to the story? Not really. However, some characters they bring back, like Kano, are a welcome return. Seriously, Kano is absolutely fucking awesome in this movie. I mean, for as much as I like Johnny Cage, he's easily the best character in this movie. I mean, he's hilarious, he's a total shit talker, he's a douchebag, but such a likable one. I mean, he dropped some one-liners in this movie that actually had me laughing my ass off. Yeah, Josh Lawson absolutely kills it as this character once again. I'm so glad he came back, and I feel like had maybe a little bit more to do in this movie. Or at least more to do in this movie that I know I will remember for the long haul. And yeah, when it all comes to a head in the big action finale, I think every character that's in this movie really gets time to shine, really gets time to stand out. Again, we delve more on some characters that we really love, that anyone who's a big Mortal Kombat fan is absolutely going to appreciate. And ultimately, the big thing that works for Mortal Kombat 2 is it feels like that sequel that steps it up in every sense of the word. This feels like the movie that the filmmakers wanted to make after they heard what the fans wanted after seeing the first one. Like, they listened to the complaints, they heard about the flaws, they heard what the fans were desiring, and they're like, alright, let's give them that flawless victory. And I'm not saying this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, or it's the best movie of the year or anything like that, but this is absolutely, it feels more like a Mortal Kombat movie for the fans than the last one did. Admittedly for me, I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. I've played it every once in a while with my friends, but it's not a franchise I'm as tied to as like Super Mario, for example. But regardless, I know what this movie's going for, and it's gonna be an absolute fan favorite with Mortal Kombat fans, and anyone who just appreciates a good video game adaptation in general will undeniably walk out of this movie feeling like they had a fun time. But all in all, Mortal Kombat 2, yeah, I had a good time with this one. Johnny Cage was a great new protagonist to have in this movie. I thought Karl Urban crushed it at that. Other new characters like Katana, I appreciate what the storyline was going for, but maybe it didn't hit me as much. And as a result, for me, maybe dragged the movie down just a little bit in terms of its pacing. But the action, the violence, the tournament actually having more of a place in this movie, that was awesome. Then we had some great kills, some really funny one-liners for certain characters. Seriously, I'm so happy Kano came back for this. Some characters definitely brought back for nostalgia. There's still some CGI that could have been cleaned up here and there. But in the end, like I said, with the last Mortal Kombat movie, I saw the potential. Here, the potential was more realized. I'm gonna give Mortal Kombat 2 a 6 out of 10, which absolutely makes it a movie worth checking out as soon as it hits streaming.
Sorry, I'm watching a movie on my iPad.
You may take that as a negative. I don't really see it as that. I mean, think about it, you know? It hits streaming, you get all your boys over, you get the drinks going, you get the favorite snacks and foods going, everybody watches Mortal Kombat 2 and just enjoys the bloody carnage together. And then, as soon as that movie's over, you break out your favorite Mortal Kombat game and you get a tournament going with everybody. That sounds like a great time to me. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.